Usually I pick games with really interesting behind the scenes stories to make videos on, but I just really wanted to play this. Developed by Winds and published by Virgin Interactive in 1995, Gourmet Warriors only came out in Japan. We were robbed of this masterpiece until 2018 when Pico Interactive translated it and released it for American audiences. And I could tell this game was really going to be an experience when I downloaded it, and it was less than 9 megs. So why after 20 years was this game worth resurrecting? Well, before we get into the weird, let's get into the story, because this game actually has a story. It's the year 20-something, and we're in Zeus Heaven Magic City after World War III. Resources are sparse, and people need to survive on whatever protein they happen to find. There's a secret organization called BATH that is wreaking chaos and violence throughout the city. So Zeus's leaders launch a secret project to fight back against the criminals. And it's super soldiers, because it's always super soldiers. Specifically, Bonjour, Mademoiselle, and Très Bien. Yes, those are their names. And they're outfitted with the latest technology and body armor to fight back. And the whole post-apocalyptic protein struggle thing isn't just lore, it's actual gameplay. Gourmet Warriors is a typical side-scrolling beat-em-up. You have 5 stages, and between each stage, you need to cook. Like in lots of beat-em-ups, the enemies drop food, but you can't just eat the food to regain life. You use the food as ingredients, because cooking is the only way to heal. There are no health drops in this game, and each character has their own preferences for food, so you can't just randomly throw ingredients together. Different recipes will heal a different amount, and I don't know how anyone was supposed to know these combinations until guides existed, unless it was trial and error. And trial and error might be the worst way to learn things in this game, because there are no lives, and continues put you back at the beginning of the stage you're in. And between stages or levels within the stage, you don't regain any health. You only regain health through cooking food. And just for fun, every stage has a time limit. And if you run out of time before you beat the level, you don't get to keep any of the ingredients you collected in that level. Oh, and there are also some recipes that will outright kill you. And the only gain from cooking is health. There are no stat boosts or anything, so it just feels like an extra system that was tacked on to a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Oh, there is also one other drop that you get from enemies, and it makes a clone of yourself, which on one hand is really useful because the enemies are basically damage sponges. I'm pretty sure they were designed just to take up more of your time before you get to the end of the level, and the clone does give the enemies another target to focus on besides you. But on the other hand, it was kind of annoying seeing my clone pull off moves that I didn't know how to do. But let's actually talk about core mechanic, the fighting. It has a classic side-scrolling beat-em-up kind of structure. You got a 4-punch combo, you have a couple of kicks, throws that you can use after stunning an enemy that I never figured out how to do, and short-range explosive attacks that I never figured out how to do. The one thing I did figure out how to do is you can knock an enemy up into the air and they'll get stuck in the ground head first, so you get some free shots on them. And that's it. There's no weapons or items besides the clone thing, and with the massive amount of health enemies have, it makes the combat really boring and repetitive and drags on way too long. You've got 3 characters to choose from, but I didn't really see any big gameplay differences between them. Your little clone friend is a great addition, but it doesn't really make up for the inconsistent difficulty. The hardest boss you face is the one after level 2. And that's only because he has moves that actually drain your health. Oh, and the game does have one more feature, a dedicated pose button. You can press a button and your character will strike a pose, and it does nothing. That's it. It's just your character just shows off a pose. That's all it does. One whole button just for that. And for a game that looks so weird and has some weird functions, the fighting is actually pretty straightforward. And it's stuff like that that kind of got my attention in the first place. This game is weird. You fight muscle men that blow themselves up, robot Maui heads that are piloted by tiny little dudes who still try to fight you. You've got a boss that's a magician that fights you with magic hats, and a level that seems to take place in the Playboy mansion where you fight mechanized Playboy bunnies. And I think that's one of the flaws in the game. They should have steered in more to the weirdness. The enemies are weird, the levels are weird. The game even came with little comment cards that ask different questions, and one of the questions was, why did you buy this game? And one of the answers is, I made a mistake. It was creative, it was clever, but the gameplay, you, the character, never really rise to that level of weirdness. The gameplay is very stale and repetitive. They should have cranked up the weirdness, not just for the environments or for the characters, but for you, for the gameplay, to make it more interesting. It was a game worth a few bucks and a few megs. It's not a bad game. The mechanics all work fine, and it's fun in short bursts, but the cooking mechanic and the humor are good ideas that they just didn't take far enough. Why did this game get resurrected after 20 years? Because it's weird, and it's different, and it is definitely unique. And in video games these days, that is something worth preserving, even if it wasn't very good. But ultimately, Gourmet Warriors answers its own question. Was it a mistake? No. Just not gourmet. See you next time.